Dude, you would drop that bullshit. I know. And at the end, you would try to get all mushy. You would.
I
Oh
mean, I
God.
told you this weekend has been a weekend of reflection. That's what I mean. It
Yeah.
has been a very reflective, a very reflectory weekend.
Like, what brought it on? It was just everything. You were just there, just
Yeah. It was a massive emotions between the two events because like I told you on the phone when we were talking about it, like there's not a lot of times when I'm doing anything that I don't want you all both with me,
yeah.
but I felt protective of both of you in the way that things weren't as like uh, things that we attend or things that we're a part of, we tend to want them to be very polished and poised and everything run on a schedule and everything. There's no like very few hiccups are kind of allowed in the way we view events. And these two events were, while they weren't as seamless as we would have liked them to be, they both made, changes and concessions and things that worked. So both events were great. But me being protective as I am, wanted to like I was glad I was able to protect both of your peace because that's really what it is. You guys, it's just you guys. I'm one of those go with the flow kind of people. I can show up and do what I do regardless of how prepped everything else is, and I know that. And right, and that's the thing. So I know that you guys don't operate that way because you guys were blowing my phone up, and I'm like, as soon as I can get the info, I will tell you. I promise, I will not leave you. I did the best I could with what I had, but I knew that even doing it the way we had to end up doing it remotely, I knew that it was going to be better. Even you not being there was going to be more peaceful for you than if you were there having to go through everything that, all the changes and things and last minute adjustments and schedule changes and venue changes and all the other things. But, it was good for me to be able to protect you guys in that way and do what I had to do to make everything happen. But, that just got me thinking about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like how far I've come, how far you guys have helped bring me, because I don't think I would have been able to do that in that way had I not have worked with you guys for so long and have this down the way we have it down. So it just got me to thinking about how much you guys have done for me, with me, and we've been able to do for everyone else. And I just know for a fact that I wouldn't have been able to do this without you guys. And it just, to me, I think back to, we always talk about clicking that Zoom link and how hard it can be. But that was so legit, like happenstance that it happened that way. And the things that we've created and been able to do out of just that one, just really honestly, it was just a leap of faith. I think of how things could have been, and it scares the shit out of me.
Oh,
Because
good.
I'm like, it rattles me to my core because I'm like, had that not have happened, uh, I couldn't have walked this journey by myself. There's no way I couldn't have done it.
No. It's
Same.
this weekend. I don't know what is happening, but we were all kind of having, I think, the same thing going on, even though we weren't together. But I just remember looking back on my feed, just feeling like I was a piece of shit. And then it was like, oh my God, I've grown so much and things really are different. And then I went back on the BariNation feed and it was like, oh my, right, like, holy shit. But then what I started seeing on like Facebook and TikTok and all these other things were people that we used to engage with all the time who have not engaged with their bariatric journey. And you can just see things have not gone well. Things have probably not gone in the direction that they want them to go. And it breaks my heart to see that because you can just, I don't know, maybe I'm reading into things, but you just see pictures of them and you're like, oh man, like, that has to be really difficult for them. And what I keep thinking is if I had not met you and Nat, and if we had not done all of this, that would be me. That would be me. There is I don't know how anybody, you cannot do this alone.
No. And yeah, I mean, I remember when like we recorded, when you guys had me on the podcast, I remember being like, oh, there are people that understand, like, I mean, because I had been listening to other podcasts and I had been on Instagram, but actually sitting down, like what we just talked about, sitting down and actually having the conversations in real time. I mean, I feel the same way that you both feel. Like, I could not have done this. And I have tried twice to do this without support. And it just, and I don't know how to say this without sounding like evangelical in the way that I'm speaking, but I'm like, you literally cannot do this alone, and you need to find your community. Like, period, end of story. Like, I have done this without people and it does not work.
Yep. Yes.
And that's how I've been feeling, you know, since I left my job. I mean, I don't think I would have felt nearly as secure in my decision without being able to talk to you and Jason and Lori and Christine and Jody. You know, like, I had people to talk to about it in real time, in the moment. I had people. I could go on a BariNation group and just listen and have that community. So yeah, I mean, just thinking about 3 years ago, you know, this month, I was dealing with my very sick, ailing grandma. I was 400 pounds. I was unhappy. I couldn't move. I tried, you know, I would try and go for walks and things, but I was just mentally and physically exhausted. So to think like, oh, 3 years from that moment, I'm here, like, what? But it's because of you, like the both of you, for everyone watching, for like everyone on Instagram, like, it's because of everyone involved. It's impossible to do on your own.
Yep. Well, and that's what was so shocking to me when I was deep diving my own Instagram feed. I was like, how is there so little here? Right? Like, I thought I documented everything, and I thought I was an open book, and then I was like, where the fuck, what? Like, it was like I was in another world, and it dawned on me. I was like, oh, it's because 99.9% of the work I do is with the community. It's with us. It's with the community. It's these conversations. It's, you know, and I was like, oh no. Anyways, it just like, yeah, it clicked, but there is just no way. And sometimes it is absolutely me getting in my own way.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's the fucking disease of obesity. Right. And it's being able to be like, okay, no, this is the disease. And now I need to switch gears, tactics, tools, whatever. But I can more clearly see like, oh no, this is me. I am getting in my own way. Right. And I think, Jason, that's kind of what you realized this weekend, right? All the ways that you're getting in your own damn way when it comes to where you want to be.
100%. Yeah, no, absolutely. I derailed my own shit, and I know that 100%. I would never. There was no point, part, time, anything that I sat back and tried to blame anything or anyone on what happened to me, because I knew damn well it was my own self. Because there's plenty of times I could have made better decisions and I chose not to, which we talk about all the time. Like, it's not that makes me a bad person or a bad patient. I just wasn't ready. I was working through something. I had to do whatever it was I had to do, and it's part of the process. And I'm okay with that, because I've got the rest of my life to figure it out. It's not going to be something that I'm always going to have a hold of. I will slip again. It's going to happen. But it's, you know, the power comes in making sure that I'm on top of that and doing those self audits and remembering, you know, to check in with myself and say, hey, you know, it's been long enough. Let's go back. Like, we're done playing. It's time to go back and get to work. Because honestly, I mean, like we talk about, it's okay to take little breaks, but you just have to remember the path is still there. You can't stay off the path forever. There's no forging a new path. The map's already been written. Like, you just go on the path you go. Like, there's several ways to get where you're going, but the path is still the path. You need to get on the path to get where you're going. And that's just something I'm going to have to continue to do with myself.
Well,
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of like, right, we're always reflecting on like, oh, I wish I would have done this sooner. But then we always followed up with, oh, but I wasn't ready.
Right.
Right. And it kind of feels like this as well, right? Like you are not going to commit to your bariatric life until you have just pushed and pushed and pushed against it for long enough to where that pain is just too great, right? And you're just like, oh my God, it's like, I wasn't ready to actually live the bariatric life until right now. But if you would have given up before you reached this point, you would have never hit that like precipice. You would have never gotten here.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
you're 100% right. And it took, like I said, and the crazy shift about it is like in Portland when my suit didn't fit and I felt like an outcast and I felt horrible and I wasn't happy with any of that. This time was different because I just didn't like it. I just wasn't happy with what was going on. And I remember what you said to me, and I remember thinking how I thought, and I remember feeling how I felt. And I knew that I wasn't going to turn this into that. I wasn't going to allow this to get into that territory.
Mm.
So I just had an honest conversation with myself and said, these are things you need to remember how you feel when you decide that when you really want to make this decision to lock in and go for it. These are the feelings you're going to have to remember because you don't want to feel like this again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
It was a raw conversation and it did suck because I didn't like it. Like I saw the playback of the recording that you and I did and the little snippet of the video that was used. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I look awful. I don't like it. I'm not happy with any part of it. And I look back at that and I say to myself, there's only one way to change that. If you want the next picture to look better, you know what you have to do. It's time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jason, you gave us that line. We have to do it wrong to do it right. And it's not that you have been doing it wrong, but I think you're just starting to see all of the little misses are adding up to it's compounding. Right.
Mhm.
And we've been talking about this for some time now in all facets of kind of what we're doing. Right. And it's being able to look around and go, none of this is actually serving us. None of this is getting us where we want to be. Right. It is, we could be moving towards our goal in a more efficient way. And having that clarity, and honestly, being there by yourself was probably the best thing that could have happened, because if we were there, we would have been having fun. We would have been doing this, right? We would have been distracting each other, but there was nobody else. I mean, it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was good in that way because I was able to do a lot of self-reflecting and thinking of a lot of different things. And I don't usually like to be in my head like that during those events and things, but I was able to compartmentalize it, which was also weird for me. I was able to think about it one way and not let it distract me from the things I had to do, but it stayed in the forefront of my mind, kind of like my why does. It just was sticking there. So I was able to kind of tap into it, think about it, and then lock back in. Tap in, think about it, and then log back in. So I was kind of doing what I was doing, but also processing at the same time, which I think helped me to get to where I am in the thought process of it all. Like the only way I was able to say the things that I said while we were recording is because of that, is because I was able to kind of piecemeal it together in small chunks. So because that's really a lot of the issues that we have with ourselves when we try to think of something that monumental. We look at it as a mountain instead of there's the steps to get up the mountain. You just take one step at a time and then take a break. And so that's kind of what I was doing. I was just taking a few steps and then I'd take a break and go do other stuff and then I'd come back to it and I'd just keep going. The hardest part and the most important part is I didn't stop stepping. I continued. I went back to the staircase every single time. I didn't let it just drift off, because sometimes you do that. You get caught up in doing other stuff, you think about it, and then those thoughts just kind of dissipate and you go away and keep going back to what's comfortable. And I didn't allow myself to do that. I stayed in that moment when I had the time. And then when it came time to really dig and process through it, I had 8 hours to do it when I was driving home. And it was legit just kind of one of those things that just kind of hit me like, what's going on, what's going to fix it. Like, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit, man. That's big.
It is.
Huge.
It is. I'm pretty proud of myself for that, honestly.
Yeah.
You should be.
Mm-hmm.
You should be 1000% very proud of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I do have to go because Hooper is driving me absolutely bonkers. He needs to go outside.
Come on, Mom. Come on, Mom.
That's okay. I need to go outside too, Hooper.
Yeah.
I need to stretch my legs too, Hooper. It's fine.
Right.
Oh, this was so great.
Yep. Awesome.
It's a great conversation.
Yep. Super proud of you, Jason. Man, that's fucking monumental.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from both of you. I appreciate you very much.
Yes.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah, we are.
We're doing it.
We're not, damn it.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.